Professor Clarke, always great to get your analysis on this situation. Let's talk about, as we were talking with Alex earlier, that incursion from Lebanon into the north of Israel.
Yeah, Kamali, the Israelis have got potentially a two-front problem, which really does bother them, because if Hezbollah in Lebanon use this moment to also launch attacks, then it would stretch them, and, you know, two fronts are always a problem. South of the Litani River is what matters. The Litani River runs across Lebanon. It's a kind of an L shape, but that area south of the Litani River has always been a problem, a security problem for Israel. It used to be the home of the Druze, the Christian, and very right-wing Christians. But that area now is a real problem. And the Israelis have already massed some forces in Galilee, in the north, far more forces than they've put opposite the Gaza Strip. They're already thinking about this problem. They want to seal that Lebanese border. And, you know, there are reports that certain elements of Hezbollah already say that they're on the move. I doubt that. Hezbollah have said, no, they're not. But you've got these sort of characters on mopeds and motorbikes demonstrating the fact that they say they're going to the front. Well, I'm not sure they would make a lot of difference one way or another. No. But it may well be, of course, that Hezbollah are not in full control of their forces, because this sort of event sets off lots of spontaneous reactions. We might expect it in Lebanon, might expect it on the West Bank, as well as in Gaza and maybe elsewhere. So this sort of thing is, in one sense, unimportant, but in another sense may turn out to be important if it's part of a spontaneous movement that really stretches Israel's defensive capabilities to do something about it.
Yeah, it signifies that there could be a threat coming from the north, as you say. Let's focus on the Gaza Strip. And, of course, we know that there's some more than 100 hostages, we think, are in there, spread across the Gaza Strip. What kind of military operation would be necessary to try and get those hostages out safely?
Really tough. I mean, because if they send in special forces, they might be lucky in a few cases, but it will actually endanger the others. They've had hostage issues before, but not on this scale. They've been, small numbers, and they sometimes could work out where they were, and occasionally they were able to rescue them or barter them. Famously, in 2011, the Israelis released 1,000 Palestinians for one Israeli soldier. One. Yep. And that was the value they placed on, Israeli lives. But in this case, they've got more than 100, maybe considerably more than 100, and that makes it very difficult for them to just walk into Gaza, and they, I think, will try to bargain in some way. They've never had to face this before in all the 4 major wars they've conducted in Gaza, and it runs the risk of becoming much more international. And so if you think about the problems they've got on the border, they really worry that Iran is somehow behind this, or if it's not behind it, is going to get drawn into it, because Iran basically tells Hezbollah what to do. Iran funds Hamas. It's about 70% of Hamas's funding, $100 million a year goes into it. Even if the Iranians didn't press the button for this to happen, and they probably, at the moment, they probably didn't, but they may well get pulled in because they knew about it, they set it up, and Hamas themselves have pressed the button.